Class of 2023, you may be seated. My name is Dr. Michael Bacigalupi. I am the Dean of the Kentucky College of Optometry, and on behalf of the faculty, staff of KICO, I want to welcome everyone here to the Class of 2023's White Coat Ceremony. As you can tell, the White Coat Ceremony this year is being conducted in a little bit different format again. Instead of having our family and friends here with us on campus, we're having them watch us live, online, and on Facebook. As you can imagine, the decision to hold the White Coat Ceremony in this manner was a difficult one, but one that was needed to ensure the safety of our entire KICO family. So, to the Class of 2023, welcome. We know that you would love to have had your family and friends with you here today, but be assured that they are cheering you on online at this moment. Today, we mark your transition from optometry student to clinical optometry student. Today is your chance for us to recognize you reaching this milestone and a chance for you to thank your classmates and professors who helped get you to this point. How many times did your classmates allow you to flip their eyelids? How many times did your classmates allow you to dilate them? How many times did you poke them with a tonometer? It was truly a team effort to get all of you to this point. Now, while white coat ceremonies are common across other optometry schools and other health professions, this one for the Class of 2023 is special in two very important ways that I need to tell you. First, the Class of 2023 spent the last year of their education in really a hyper-flex model. Well, what does that mean? What it means is that we transitioned their education from online to in-person learning depending on the needs and the difficulties with the COVID-19 pandemic. I remember well the day in March of 2020 when I called the faculty together at 7:30 in the morning and we decided, what are we going to do? How are we going to keep these students on track? And how are we going to protect them from this emerging virus? Well, we made some tough decisions and we reached this point. We knew we had to do one thing. We had to stick together as a team. You know, in times of crisis, teams that succeed are the ones that stick together. So we spoke daily throughout the pandemic, we communicated with each other, we supported each other, and here we are. And this leads me to my second point you need to know about the Class of 2023. This class, the Class of 2023, are tough. We navigated the changing tides of the pandemic, forced into many difficult decisions whether or not to allow students back to campus or keep them away from the labs or clinical training. You see, you really can't train a physician online. They have to touch, interact, smell, feel with their patients to truly diagnose and properly care for their patients. This class adjusted. They through it all, they persevered. They demonstrated their toughness, their strength, and their grit. They engaged in learning in all types of formats that we threw at them, and they stayed on track to reach this point today. We're incredibly proud of them for protecting themselves and each other during this pandemic. Their efforts have allowed them to stay on track with their education and progressing towards their goal of becoming leaders in the optometric profession. So thank you. Thank you for being careful. Thank you for taking care of each other. And thank you for being such a key part of the KICO team. We are very proud to honor all of you today with this white coat ceremony. So without further delay, I'd like to invite our UPike chaplain, Rob Music, to come forward and offer our invocation.
And I guess on behalf of all the family who are not here, I give you a hug your necks and tell you how proud we are of you. So let's go to the Lord in prayer. God of all wisdom and healing, today we pause. We thank you for the joy of these students and for all the ways that they have worked tirelessly for the honor to wear the white coat. Through their work and the gift of your grace, they have arrived in this special moment. You bestow callings on all of us, and we thank you for the sacred calling of leadership and service that you have gifted them with. May you help them to be ever mindful of the privilege of this call to heal. Today, as they embark on the next stage of their life path, may you give them deeper empathy and hearts that break for that which breaks your heart, especially as they encounter people who are very broken or radically different. Please pour out on them a new level of patience, mercy, and kindness as they continue to learn as students, yet simultaneously are being looked to as people with answers. In the midst of these next days and months, may you gift them with humility to navigate times of rapid change and grant them the ears of attentive listeners and minds of curious practitioners. Gift them with souls that are willing to grow and be perpetually nimble in the midst of complex decisions, deep life choices, and a world of hurt. Through them, may you raise up from the ashes of old systems creative new ways of being servant leaders who impact their communities and institutions with hope, dedication, and the unwavering commitment to wholeness. As the white coats go on today, and the pressures mount and sometimes can feel stifling, may you give them a new sense of togetherness and deeper relationships as they serve many who feel disenfranchised and alone. Now, as we pause, reflect, and celebrate, we say thank you for their lives, the stories, and the many families that are symbolically covered by the individual white coats. Especially today, please bless the families who desperately long to be with us but can't be due to COVID restrictions. Now bless the students in our time in this ceremony with your presence, for we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Good afternoon. My name is Burton Webb. I'm the president of the University of Pikeville. I'd like to extend greetings to the class of 2023 and to all of your families who are watching online. It's great to have you with us today on this wonderful day. You are about to enter into a profession that I can honestly say from my youngest years was one of my favorite doctor's visits to go to. When I was a small child, we used to go to a regular physician, who was a medical doctor, and we'd go visit him, and it seemed like every time we went, he gave us a shot. We didn't like him very much, and in fact, when we would turn down that road in our small town, I would lean over to my little brother, who was 2 years younger, and I would say, "We're going to take you to get a shot today." And he would immediately start to cry. It was one of those great tricks that a 5-year-old can play on a 3-year-old. I remember being even more distressed by another profession, and that was dentistry. Dentists are nothing more than medieval torturers. They strap you to a chair, tell you to keep your mouth open for hours on end, and go at you with a drill. How could anyone ever love that? Certainly as a child we didn't. We thought it was terrifying. And then there was the optometrist. Our optometrist was a wonderful old gentleman. His name, ironically, was Dr. Sniff. We always thought he should have been an ENT, but he was an optometrist. We would go see Dr. Sniff, and I remember third grade really clearly because in the third grade, I started off being a good student, but about midway through, the parent-teacher conference came, and my teacher told my parents that I was being disruptive in class. They said, "We don't understand. He's precocious. He has a big vocabulary. He reads all the time. Why is he causing problems?" She said, "I think he's having a hard time seeing." What gives you that idea? Well, he's squinting at the board all the time, and I've had to move him to the front of the class. So my parents took me to see Dr. Sniff. And when I walked out of his office, I knew that things were going to get better. And here's how I knew, and probably those of you who wear glasses or contacts can relate to this. When you walk outside the optometrist's office for the very first time and you look at the trees, you can see the leaves. Do you know what I'm talking about? It was a green mass before, but now those are leaves. And I remember going back to the third grade and being able to be successful in third grade and being moved ahead in the fourth and fifth and skipping a grade later on because I was able to see. It is our deepest desire that this white coat takes you to a place where you can help children to see. And we know that you will, because today we're placing the white coat on your shoulders and giving you that mantle of responsibility. Welcome. Have a great day today.
Good afternoon. My name is Lori Worth, and I am the provost at the University of Pikeville. Greetings to all of our students here today and to your families virtually. I think of your families who I know wish they could be here today. Monumental moments in your life. Maybe that first day of school that they watched as you walked up those stairs to the yellow school bus with your lunchbox. A second might be that driver's license that you received in that first time that you took the car out on your own. Another is today as you're receiving your white coat. Thank you for your commitment in the classroom. Thank you for your dedication, your continued grace, and understanding of people that you will be serving. I'd like to say a special thank you to the Kentucky College of Optometry faculty and staff. Would you please stand and be recognized? You are the individuals that have been pouring in the lives of our students. Thank you for your commitment to these students. Thank you for mentoring them and being able to share cutting-edge practice and research with them. Very grateful for Dr. Bacigalupi. Over the last year, we've had extraordinary success with our accreditation. His leadership with the college, his leadership on campus, we're very grateful. Please give Dr. Bacigalupi a round of applause. Thank you for the commitment and congratulations.
Hi, my name is Donald Egan. Sorry, I'll take this off. And I'm the Associate Dean of Academic Affairs. And wow, you guys look good. I had to create a PowerPoint presentation, but you don't have to take notes. But one thing which was important to me was this white coat ceremony. I remember when I was in school, not that long ago, we were told that clinic starts on Monday. Here's the equipment you need. Got directions to the locations, so you went to different locations. And oh, by the way, get yourself a white coat. That was our ceremony, basically finding some place who had a white coat to the specification which was necessary to provide patient care. Anyway, welcome to the white coat ceremony today. I get the honor of introducing our speaker, but before I do that, I've got a couple of slides to show. Our mission statement, and I'll read that especially for the home audience. The Kentucky College of Optometry's mission is to develop leaders in therapeutic optometry through innovative education and a commitment to caring for the underserved. Now, the purpose of why we're here today is to give you some white coats. Why do we wear a white coat? What does it symbolize? Well, until the 19th century, there were no white coats. Physicians at that time, or anybody in the healthcare field, usually wore black. They wore a black coat, and that was to symbolize that there was illness, that there was perhaps death, or basically it hid the stains, whether it be blood or some kind of fluid that might have come from the body, so it could be masked and therefore was not obvious to the patients or anybody in that room. Eventually, a white coat was developed to symbolize and portray the doctor as clean, pure, hygienic, safe, sterile. Along with that theme, they started to put white sheets on the beds before it could be any color. The nurses wore white clothes and kind of cute little hats. Okay. And of course, the doctors wore white coats. So this became symbolic of healthcare. The first ceremony was in 1993, and that was at the Columbia University College of Physicians and Surgeons. White coat, what does it symbolize again? Purity. Purity of purpose, being affirmed in the process of becoming a healthcare professional. Optometric students are given a white coat as a visual reminder of their professional oath and commitment to providing high-quality health care. The white coat is an honor, a privilege, an earned rite of passage which you have all earned. It's special. It represents a transitioning of a professional graduate student to a healthcare practice and patient care. Traditionally, the white coat ceremony, and before conferring the white coat, there's a recitation of the professional oath. There is an address by an eminent role model. In this particular case, the role model is Dr. Max Rayner. He's an optometrist. He's a North Carolina optometrist. He has 3 locations. He's been in practice for 30-plus years. He practices full scope optometry. He's the past president of the North Carolina State Optometric Society. He has served on boards for a bank, a food pantry, and I like not just another community center. I kind of like that title. He's also the current commissioner for the town of Benson in North Carolina. He is also the current president of the Southern Council of Optometrists. Now, some of you, if you haven't gone to SECO yet, will in the future probably go to SECO because it's the largest optometric educational program in the world. There's 13 member states, most of them from our area, and it also has associated members the Armed Forces Optometrics Society and many international organizations. It's dedicated towards allied health professionals of all types: optometrists, optometric technicians, para-optometrics, optometry residents, optometry students, opticians, opticianry students, ophthalmologists, ophthalmology technicians, ophthalmic assistants, ophthalmologist residents, and students. It's the largest organization, like I said, for optometry, for both visiting with your colleagues, getting some mentoring from your colleagues, and going to their marketplace. Their marketplace is the largest optometric show on the planet, and basically anything you want to see or learn, you can do there. In addition, while we talk about Dr. Rayner, he has a brother, Dr. Eric Rayner, who's also an optometrist. And for those who may know, he has a daughter and a niece who are both from the class of 2020 and are both in professional optometric practice currently in North Carolina. So without further ado, I'll ask to have the presentation from Dr. Rayner, who can't be here today because, unfortunately, because of COVID restrictions, he wasn't able to make it. So, Dr. Rayner.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Max Rayner, and I'm currently serving as president of SECO International. I'm also in private practice with 4 locations in Benson, Clinton, Roseboro, and Elizabethtown, North Carolina. I'm honored to be here with you today virtually to share in this momentous occasion. I have served in many positions in optometry throughout the years on a local, state, and national level. I became president of my local district in North Carolina Optometric Society in the early 1990s. My political career in optometry began there, the usual way things like that happen. I went to the bathroom right before the vote for district president. When I came back, I was informed I was now it. So my first pearl of wisdom for you today is that if you don't want to get saddled with a lot of responsibility, never go to the bathroom before a big vote. Secondly, and more importantly, you can achieve great things if you're too stupid to say no. After serving as district president for a few years, I became a trustee to our state society and eventually went through the chairs to become North Carolina president in 2006. I was selected as North Carolina's trustee to SECO in 2010 and became president of SECO last February. COVID has made my presidency somewhat historic. As SECO was postponed this year, I will end up being the longest serving president in SECO history, as well as the one who has traveled and done the least. Hopefully 2021 will be the year that we see the end of the pandemic and a return to normalcy. Before I begin, I'd like to recognize some current and former KICO students. My daughter, now Dr. Mary Beth Massengill, and my niece, Dr. Emily Rayner, were members of the 2020 inaugural graduating class here at KICO and are both licensed and practicing in optometry in North Carolina. Third-year student Dr. Zach Stevenson is from my hometown, and I've known him all his life. Another third year I know is Michael DeRocher, nephew of my good friend and current president-elect of SECO International, Dr. Richard DeRocher. Richard also has a daughter in her second year at KICO. I see you out there, Haley. Finally, one of my current techs, McKinley Johnson, was just accepted at KICO and will be there in the fall. All are impressive young people and will be a credit to optometry. In 2011, the Better Access to Quality Healthcare Act was signed into law by the Governor of Kentucky, giving Kentucky optometrists the right to perform laser eye procedures and injections, as well as remove lumps and bumps around the eye. The law came about due to the efforts of Kentucky optometrists and especially my old friend, Dr. Bill Reynolds. This level of practice is found only in a handful of states and is the envy of optometry across the nation. Little did we know that the law would set the stage for what surrounds us today. As I mentioned earlier, I was a trustee at SECO during those years, and at one of our executive council meetings in Atlanta in about 2014, I was seated beside a man who I quickly struck up a conversation with. That man was Andrew Bazzelli. He had come to talk about a new optometry school coming to Eastern Kentucky, a school that would teach and support optometry to the fullest limits of our capabilities, a school that had secured the funding to build a showplace of an optometry school and to equip it with all the latest technology, a school that would cater to the development of rural optometry. As I owned a large group of rural practices in eastern North Carolina, that sounded great. My daughter and my niece, who were both interested in going to optometry school, and I thought Pikeville would be ideal. We visited and were all impressed. Not only did we like everything about the school, but we liked everything about the community. Pikeville seemed to be a safe place filled with good, simple folks who would look you in the eye when they met you on the street and say hello, unlike the somewhat colder environments found in more urban settings. One thing led to another, and my daughter Mary Beth and my niece Emily applied and made history, and you can check me on this, as the first 2 optometry students selected to the Kentucky College of Optometry. 4 years flew by, and both were members of the first graduating class in 2020 and are now practicing in North Carolina. In a proud dad moment, I want to mention that my daughter Mary Beth received the first Clinical Excellence Award given at KICO and was the founding president of the Private Practice Club. During that time, we made great friendships here among the faculty and staff. UPike is lucky to have great professors, staff, and administrators. One such person is Dr. Roy Otara, who is here in those early years. An impressive optometrist, she was recently named both 2020 SECO International Young OD of the Year and 2020 AOA Young OD of the Year. I was fortunate to represent SECO that first year at SECO Day, which was held at the top of the hotel across the street. Hopefully we will be able to resume SECO Day very soon. When we do, don't miss it. There's good food, drink, and hundreds of dollars in cash prizes. And they're real dollars too. When I was at SECO Day in Oklahoma a couple years ago, the optometry students that were present were excited about the cash prizes until I told them they were in SECO dollars, which could be used to buy SECO hats, coffee mugs, and t-shirts. You should have seen their faces drop until I told them I was just kidding. When writing my speech, I tried to come up with something related to the history of Pikeville that you might not know. I was touring the school back in those early days and getting a lecture from Dr. Bazzelli about the color scheme of the building going from rock to soil to greenery to sky as you go up the floors of the building. During that time, he mentioned that the citizens of Pikeville had mixed feelings about an optometry school coming there. Hiring the local folks met with lukewarm approval, but the town got really excited when they found out they were getting a Chick-fil-A in the food court. Again, that's my kind of people. I attended KICO's first white coat ceremony and had the privilege of assisting in the ceremony with my daughter. The first speaker was Kentucky optometrist and former AOA president, Dr. Joe Ellis. It's a shame that your families can't be with you here today in person as we celebrate together this occasion. I'd like to take this moment to recognize them for their love and support. I know they are more proud of you than you know. The white coat ceremony is a major milestone for all future optometrists. It is a day that signifies the passage from classroom learning to putting what you've learned into practice in a clinical setting. This ceremony was started in 1993 at Columbia University. The white coat symbolizes professionalism, caring, and trust, which you must earn from the patients you serve. The most important part of the ceremony is the oath taken in front of family, staff, faculty, and peers, acknowledging your central obligation of caring for the patient. Another way of stating it is that the white coat symbolizes your commitment to serving humanity for the rest of your lives, and you should use the opportunity given you to make a difference in the world. I'm sure you realize that your learning doesn't end once you move into the clinic. It doesn't end once you graduate, nor does it end once you pass state boards and begin practice. You're committed to a lifetime of learning. By the same token, the challenges you face and the hurdles you overcome will not end when you graduate or when you pass boards or begin practice. You have signed up for a lifetime of challenges as well. You will have adversaries. There are entities out there who either want to control you or want to see you wiped from the face of the earth. That's okay. Stand up for what you believe in, do what you know is right, never let them define you, and you'll be okay. You're only in their sights because you have value, because you have something they want. You have or will have by the time you begin practice the skills to stand up for yourselves and fight. Do that, fight. Accept that you have signed up for a life of struggle. How do you stand up against the forces arrayed against you? You do so by standing together. You can do so by getting involved in your local optometry society as well as your state and national associations. Attend SECO, the AOA, and other national meetings. Look at the people sitting around you here, the people you've studied with, spent time with, faced disappointment and success with, the people you've gone to war with. They won't be here with you in a very short time. You'll be living and practicing in your state and they'll be in theirs. National meetings will allow you to reconnect and perpetuate the lifelong friendships and bonds that you've developed over these past couple of years. You should become involved in politics. Optometry is not Republican, Democrat, or Independent. Optometry advocates for a level playing field, fair access to patients, and the ability to practice and serve patients to the fullest extent of our capabilities. We need optometry represented on the right, the left, and in the center. Get involved in the political side you support and get out there and do something. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. It's not just about the money. You can put out signs, attend local party meetings, knock on doors, just do something. You might end up in an urban setting or a rural setting. You might end up employed, go into academia, you might buy a practice, or you might be that unicorn that opens a practice cold. Wherever you land, you need to get involved, stay involved, and realize that standing together is our key to mutual success. If you don't know it already, understand you are entering the best profession in the world. Optometry is a profession where we do good. We do good when we stop kids from living their lives with limitations due to amblyopia. We do good when we give their first classes to a third grader, enable them to see the board clearly. We do good when we fit contacts and raise the self-esteem of a teenager embarrassed by their glasses. We do good when we uncover things like glaucoma or diabetic retinopathy and save people's sight. We do good when we find issues like tumors and save people's lives. We are often unaware of the ways in which we do good. Sometimes we do good even when things don't turn out well. A few years ago, I was seeing a teacher in her mid-40s who had recovered from breast cancer about 10 years earlier. She was in for a routine exam, and the issue showed up on her Optomap. I sat her down and showed her the retinal mass that was present but not present on a prior exam. Her head sank and she looked back at me through teary eyes and said, "Man, I got kids." The oncologist gave her 6 months to live, and that pretty much held true. I sat with her a couple of months before she passed, and I told her I felt somehow guilty and responsible for what was happening to her. This time she looked at me with peaceful eyes and thanked me for giving her the opportunity to get everything in order while she could. Again, we do good in numerous and unexpected ways. After that first white coat ceremony, there was a dinner and mandatory speeches afterwards. Dr. Bazzelli spoke on why optometrists do what they do. Is it for money? Optometry can definitely be financially rewarding, but that's not the main reason. Is it to gain respect in your community? Not the reason. Is it because it offers a good lifestyle? Again, no. As he said, our reason to be is to improve the vision and quality of the life of the people in the surrounding communities, the hollers. So go out and help the people in those hollers. That's your mission. Once again, congratulations. A challenging but wonderful world awaits you. May God bless you and your families. May God bless the faculty, staff, and administration here at Pikeville, and may God bless optometry. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure being with you today.
Thank you, Dr. Rayner. I'd like to call Dr. Cliff Caudle and Dr. Don Egan to come forward and present the white coats. Class of 2023, when you return to your seats, under the chair you will find an envelope. When you return to your seat, please open that.
Okay, Dr. Cliff Caudle will be giving out the white coats, and I'll call the names. Gabriel Alt. Aggie Broomer. Jonathan Bunnell. Clara Cobb. Jacqueline Douglas. Haley DeRocha. Caitlin Estevez. Adrian Fife, Shelby Gelhaus, Swathi Guti, Daniel Hanna, Allison Harmon, Crystal Hohen, Colette Husan, Sweta Jenka, Yadam Job, Jessica Johnson, Emily Jones, Virginia Jones, Daniel Kenner, Rebecca Kim, Tammy Lee, Haley Liberty, Haley Long, Jessica Manders, Brianna Matulka, Alyssa Miller, Abigail Mitchell, Cassie Napier, Sabrina Owens, Emily Pargan, Melanie Patterson, Sarah Pauley, Simone Purcell, Ashley Richmond, Sydney Roberts, Brianna Rodriguez, Catherine Rosenberger, Zachary Royster, Jesse Sampson, Adriana Shade, Rebecca Simmons Brown, Matthew Smith, Philip Sowards, Nicholas Taylor, Peyton Taylor, Griffin Trends, Matthew Tucker, Kevin Turner, Lexi Turpin, Shirley Velasco Hill, Miranda Wentworth, Hannah Withrow, and Thomas Zitko.
great. We have our last 2023 back in its place. From Clinical Affairs, I have to extend my welcome to all of the folks here, of course, all of the class of 2023, and the faculty and the staff, and everybody watching at home. We're so happy to have you here. I'm just the guy that they stopped on the outside and put this coat on. You see, I was hired for my propensity to put coats on people. Since then, I've been doing this every year. It's amazing. They bring me back every year and have me put the coats on. Don't I do a great job? Yeah. It's my responsibility in the role of the Assistant Dean for Clinical Affairs to accept you all into the Clinical Affairs program at KICO. You have been under the watchful eye of our faculty and Dr. Egan for the last couple of years, for the most part, doing didactic classroom and laboratory work. Congratulations on your completion of that portion of your education. Now the fun starts, all right? And now you're mine, right? And that's okay. That's a good place to be, because clinical affairs is the avenue by which we learn the skills involved in taking care of patients. Optometry is a clinical profession, and now is the time for you all to shine and demonstrate the foundational knowledge that you have and have received from our faculty, and utilize that to work on patients. So again, I want to congratulate you, to accept you into the clinical affairs program for your next stage in your education. The tradition that we are developing here, that has been a tradition across the country in white coat ceremonies and other types of transitions to clinical care, is the performance of the professional conduct pledge, right? You do have that in your program. If I talk too quickly so you can't remember what I said or something like that, but what I would like you all to do is turn to the professional conduct pledge in your program. Please raise your right hand, and we're going to review the professional conduct pledge. Have you accept that, and think about the words that we're reading here. This is a ceremony. This is what we do to reflect how we're going to move forward in the next phase of your clinical care. So let's take the conduct pledge. With full deliberation, I freely and solemnly pledge that I will ensure that all persons have access to eye, vision, and general health care in an environment of faith, social justice, and human dignity. Please repeat. Very nice. I will provide care that is consistent with established clinical practice guidelines based on the latest scientific knowledge and procedures. I will remain current with the prevailing scope of practice and standards of care to benefit my patients. I will respect the rights of my patients to be active participants in decisions affecting their health care. I will inform patients or their legal guardian about the patient's health care and health care options. I will hold in confidence all protected health and other personal information. I will conduct myself with good character in all my actions to build trust and respect with patients, the public, and colleagues. Very nice. Again, I'd like to welcome the class of 2023 to the Clinical Affairs program and the clinical portion of your optometry program here at KICO. Thanks again to the staff and the faculty and the administration and our Lord. And that concludes our ceremony tonight, and we invite you to stay around for a little reception afterwards. Congratulations, folks. Mm-hmm.